and welcome. If you're watching this and you don't play the game, I really don't know why you clicked on the video, but you're welcome here anyway.
Maybe they just want to see great art.
Well, I'll tell you the art in this game. So this is set 4.
Set 4.
And they've continued. One of the things I love about Rise and Empire, and all of our partners, honestly, but Rise and Empire is each at bat continue just to get better. And you can see that showing up in some of the cards we're going to show in here today. Incredible game, incredible publisher, making a game that's very much an indie TCG, and it feels like they're definitely hitting their stride, which we'll cover some of those details in a second. But nice. I assume if you click this video, it's because you came for the tendies and you want to see the spoilers. So I learned back in Star Wars Destiny Day, and this will be a short story because of the lesson I learned, do not tease a teaser, and also don't bury the lead.
Yeah, they're here for one reason, not for us to talk.
This is Genesis, the Adaptable. It's a red-blue split. It costs 5, you'll see. And it's got the little blue and red diamond on the top right.
Oh, that's important.
Which is a threshold. So to play him, you spend 5. One has to be blue, one has to be red.
Okay.
But the split, we've seen this once before this set, and I assume we'll see it more in this set. When you play this, any card in your deck in Alpha Clash can go down as a resource. And so when it's down as a resource, this particular card, when you spend it, it can be either red or blue.
Oh, so it's
Not
got
both.
a little extra juice on it.
Yeah, so when every round you ready it and you get to use it, and it can be red or blue depending on what you need. So the red-blue split, first time we've seen that split particularly. Okay. And if there's a resource split, like the Clarity was a black-white split, you almost are definitely going to be playing a black-white deck. Okay. And usually it's 2 colors in Alpha Clash. Okay. Usually. So this is going to be home in the red and blue. Also, he's dressed in white, so it's very patriotic, which I was excited about red, white, and blue, baby. Anyways, he's 5 cost, 5/5 stat line. That's very normal.
Okay. So nothing surprising there necessarily.
That would be, if you're paying 5, I would expect to get that stat line or have some really good ability.
Okay.
So then he has only 1 piece of text, which is bound. Only 1 copy of this uniquely named card can be in your resource zone. So like I said, any card can go down as a resource. However, Genesis the Adaptable, by name, that very specific name, you can only have 1 of those in the resource zone at a time.
Zach's over here reading between the lines. Like I saw this card, I was like, that's pretty cool, but then he's putting
it
all together for me. He's drawing the lines on the...
That is a downside. Right, because you don't want to be restricted on where you can put these cards.
Right.
So you're paying 5 for a 5/5, which is to be expected, with a downside. But the upside is that when you put this as a resource, it's very versatile.
Very adaptable.
It is right there in the title. You also might notice there's a gold C-shaped phoenix down there at the bottom, which means this is the alt art exclusive promo that comes with our subscription service. If you're unfamiliar, you sign up. Let's say you want 4 boxes every time a set comes out. Sign up, it's free. And then 2 to 5 weeks before the next set comes out, which this is currently scheduled for November, if you're a subscriber, you'll get charged. And you'll get an email that says, hey, you've been charged for this. Process is going to be starting soon. And then we ship aiming for release day delivery. So typically that means if you're in the United States, we're shipping on like Tuesday, Wednesday, the week of release. And every box we send through our subscription service gets this card.
Every box. Not every order. So if you buy or order 4 boxes, you get 4 of these cards.
Yeah, and as an example, I have an Alpha Class subscription for 4 boxes. Because cards like this you can technically have 4 of. So you get a play set and you go off to the races. So this is the alt art exclusive promo. There will be a normal version of this card in the set. It's not the only way to get this card. Okay. But it is a higher level rarity card, so it's a really easy way to get these things. And I would guess I default just want a play set to make sure I don't ever want to play a play set. But because you can only put 1 down as a resource, and it's 5 cost, so it's a little higher on the curve. A lot of times, this is the sort of card that if you didn't have bound the keyword, and this is a new keyword, right? We haven't seen that. I haven't seen that keyword, but you would if that keyword wasn't there, this is a 4 of in red blue decks. In my opinion, because a 5/5/5 is a solid thing, and then it's great early game for a resource drop because it's letting you be very flexible with your stuff. But because of bound, I think most decks will play like a couple of these.
Because you don't want to just flood because you can't get that.
If you put 1 down as a resource and you draw the other one, it's probably later in the game and you can play it as a card.
Oh, that's interesting.
So I'm curious how many of these end up. I mean, split resource cards are very valuable.
Yeah.
Valuable enough that they had to put this restriction on it.
Yeah. It's also interesting because it's not so one of the decision points in Alpha Clash, of course, is when am I going to put this as down as a resource?
One of the biggest decision points.
Or am I not? Yeah. And if you already have one of these down, then that's one less thing you have to think about.
You know, in that lens, run all of them. It's like, well, I can't choose that. Yeah.
And you can have as many of these on your board as you'd like, but only one in your resource zone.
That's right.
Also very interesting. I'm learning so much.
Yeah, and worth noting here too, Patrick Brown, the artist. I think this art is phenomenal.
Absolutely.
And the way they do the foiling on these promos and these cards.
Oh, yeah, it's a foil. I was wondering about that.
The text, like the gold logo there will be shiny and gold and beautiful. And same with the Harbinger logo on the bottom right. Mm-hmm. But Genesis is also, I know this is a big character because he's this like ancient rival of Clarity, who's also an ancient character. And he's showing up on the scene.
Well, and he's a big character because the set's named after him.
That's right.
This is Genesis Return set, so here he is returning. Yeah. And just for people who are learning the game or who have some questions about Bound, I went ahead and did some digging, and just in case you didn't know, the Genesis, the adaptable is that's the card that can only have one of in your resource zone.
Not any card.
There are other Genesi that you can have as many of them. That the Bound keyword only affects this card.
Yeah.
And now the other thing to clarify that you were saying is that this is not the only way to get this card, but our subscription is the only way to get this art.
That's right.
This is our
alt art
version of this card.
There are some games, I think Yu-Gi-Oh! Is the one most known for doing this, where they'll have alt cards that you can only get in certain ways. Mm-hmm. Like it'll be a promo at an event, and they'll be very good. Mm-hmm. And restricting gameplay behind some promotional thing is just not it. So you said there are other Genesis cards. Do we have an example of another Genesis card here?
Look at Mr. Segway over here. Here we go. We got Genesis the Inevitable, and my goodness gracious, I think this is some of the set. Think this was the promo art for the set trailer, or I've seen this art before.
Is it on the box?
Yeah, maybe on the box. This is like big art, and so this means it's probably a big card. So why don't you run this down for me, buddy?
So a few things. This is if you look at the bottom right, there's the AC4-163 in parentheses AR. So that is the highest rarity card.
Okay.
In the set.
Okay.
So there have been 2 legendary, which is the high level rarity, almost highest level, but the AR is an alternate art version of that.
Okay.
It's like an artist different version.
Okay.
So this is Patrick Brown again, killing it with this art.
Just killing it.
But so there's going to be 2 versions of this card in the set. Both of them are not going to be easy to get, and this is the harder of the 2 to get. And they did the similar treatment with Magnate from set 3. With the kind of silver around the stats and whatnot. Like can you pull the other card back up real quick to see that difference. So this is just way more subtle. Then you go to the next one and it's like, whoa.
Oh, the silver is very nice.
The way the foiling is done on that and stuff is very nice. But I'm always a sucker for like galactic stakes and art and stuff. And you can see in the background here. He's just
pretty
doing
galactic
this
to me.
Anyway, so he's probably going to be very good given the fact this is the hardest card in this set.
And the art on the set box.
That's right.
Wherever it is.
Genesis the Inevitable. 5 cost, 3 blue threshold. So this is going to be a blue deck.
Okay.
Undisputed, which means he can't be defeated during a clash on your turn.
Which is crazy.
Yeah, so you just send him, they can block, but he's not going anywhere. He's also unrivaled. You only get 1 unrivaled card in your entire deck.
So 1, not 4 copies of 1. You get 1.
1 copy of 1 card. And there are other cards with unrivaled. And you would have to choose between the 2 to go in your deck list. So unrivaled is
like this is the jam.
You get an unrivaled card in your deck list. Period.
Wow.
So let's see what he does. Trigger defeat. Put this card into your resource zone engaged.
It's so good.
He can't be defeated during a clash on your turn, but even if he is defeated, he goes as a exhausted engaged resource on your side of the board. That's incredibly efficient, especially again at 5 cost. You look at his stat line, 6/5.
Well, you're saying that you can kind of expect the stat line to reflect the cost, and so he's 1 up plus great skills.
So he's an extra attack and goes in as a resource, and it says this card. This is
Oh, I can't even. Yeah.
This card has each ability among all Clash cards in play. Abilities are Flight, Breakthrough, Exclusive, etc.
Okay, so Zach, I'm a huge copying abilities guy, and I don't play it a lot in card games because it's usually not as good. But I play Kirby and Smash Brothers, that kind of a thing. I just love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. And this is the first time I've seen this in Alpha Clash, and I am so excited about it.
Yeah, it's really it's a careful ability to put into the game, right? Because it says etc., which means every ability ever that gets printed can happen. And I like it because it means there's I think it's called Magnate Lone Fighter from the last set, which reminds me it's a similar concept where he's 4 strength for life or defense, and he gets +4/+4 if he's the only thing on your side of the board.
Okay.
So if he's alone, he's stronger. And so naturally, when we were doing like set 3, you want to pair that with clear the board cards.
Right.
You clear the board, you play this thing that is an 8/8 with flight, and it's like, this guy's insane. This is the opposite, which is you can put your own keywords on the table.
Yeah.
And sometimes there are cards, even now, from the first couple sets that don't see play, it's 2 cost with flight. Suddenly it's a little more interesting because it's not just it has flight, but it's going to give this guy flight when you see him.
Yeah.
Similarly, if your opponent, this is weird control, because if your opponent has too many good keywords going on, suddenly you drop him. And if you're playing as blue, you might now be nervous to put certain cards onto the table. Yeah. Which is a fun dynamic to play with.
Flight's a super good example because if you have flight, right, you can't be blocked. But if except for someone else with flight or intercept, and so all of a sudden he's like answering the problem just by that ability alone.
And who knows what keywords will inevitably come around. But
the thing I like, the thing that's got my wheels turning is that you've got Genesis the Adaptable, you've got Genesis the Inevitable with an adaptable ability. You also have a lot of stuff that seems to be talking about the resource zone. So I'm wondering how that's going to play out in the story and what they're pointing to. I'm really excited to see more of these cards to kind of fill in those gaps.
Yeah, and we've seen it set over set. They've been diving a little further into each zone. So we had traps in set 1, and then later we had the
ambush,
the discarded, with it being able to be played down as a trap, but it's actually not a trap. It's an actual clash card, etc. Similar here, it seems like there is a focus on the resource zone, which I think is really good because as a game, one of the hallmarks, right, compared to something like Magic, is any card in your hand can go down as a resource.
Right.
And so just going down as a resource is one step.
Right.
And now it's like, well, it goes from play to resource.
That's such a big deal.
But I'm assuming we'll also potentially, I don't know if it's in the set or not, but are we going to start seeing resource cards that can bounce out to hand or they can bounce into play, and how all that works. And we've seen him mess with the discard pile, right, and the top of deck, and all that. You're seeing it unfold. But he also, just worth saying, again, the first one was a 5/5/5 with the downside ability, and I was like, yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Like, and a lot of times when you're in a game like this where you have one resource a turn going down, you want to build it so that you're on curve on your deck. So you play a resource, you play 1 cost, you play a resource, you play 2 cost, on up. And 5 is a critical breakpoint. We were talking about this in Sorcerer, actually, in the same video, where once you get to 6, a lot of times, if you already had 3s in your decks and 2s and 4s and 5s and 1s, you start including less. Like, you definitely want some 5 costs.
Right.
Because if they play this thing and your best thing is a 3 cost, they're going to run the field.
Yeah.
It's not going to be good. But you don't want too many, because at some point you draw your cards and it's like, well, I have 7 and I drew 2 6 costs, so I can only play 1 card and they played 2, and like this is a problem.
Right.
So, but at 5/6/5 already without a downside, it doesn't have the resource flexibility. This card is obviously good.
Yeah.
Then you get a defeat effect, good, really good.
Very good.
Then you get a mimic ability,
crazy,
unbelievable.
Yeah.
So, and there again, it's a 1-of.
Yeah, that's true.
So
makes it okay.
A lot on that. And look at our podcast, How to Ruin a Game series. I think it was How to Ruin a Game. No, it was Power 7. Power 7. Yeah, Power 7 series where we talk about 1-ofs. But I'm not gonna take the bait. I'm not taking the bait, Jonathan. But the main thing is, because it is a 1-of, you can't really build your deck around it.
Right.
Yet. There's not enough filtering, as far as I've seen, or searching effects to be like, this is the Genesis thing.
I can get this guy every time.
But usually, like, there's a War 4-cost Unrivaled card. It's just very powerful. And it's the sort of thing, it's not like, I remember in Conquest LCG, there were 1-of cards that were like game breaking. And they're good. This is a good card, but it's not game is over when I play this thing.
Right.
So usually it rewards playing, like, this is 3 blue pips. So you have to play heavier a single color.
Okay.
And I like that it's encouraging, because the previous card was encouraging kind of red-blue mix. But cards like this are like, well,
go hard.
To play them at 5, 3 of your 5 cards that go down have to be blue. Which means the other cards you're playing need to be blue, because that's the resources you were playing. Right. So it can be tough to play these. That's a downside. Like, it's in important to remember 3 threshold of anything is a lot.
Okay, cool. That is good to know.
That's where I was going with all
All right,
that.
yeah, I got you.
Yeah,
I'm
and then
with you.
final thing worth noting on the bottom left says Genesis Zenith Prime. So
That's right.
we've seen like Earth,
Right.
and I call it Bardogan, but that is an area that is there that we haven't seen a lot of interaction with. So I'm just, again, with Zenith Prime, I'm assuming that's a planet. They announced their board game that they're doing in the Alpha Clash universe.
that's right.
Is coming
Yes,
out.
that's
I think
right.
they're kickstarting in September on that.
Yeah.
That is, it's like 9 planets go on the board, and it's this galactic conquest thing.
Oh.
So Genesis, to me, especially him returning, you have this galactic setting, and you have that thing. I don't know when they're going to start messing in that area, but
I see.
I'm ready for it.
I mean, we got Portal stuff. We've got Clash Grounds. We got some things that can be tweaked around
Yeah,
here.
but where's the planets at in all this? And what's the galactic scale? of all
Where's
this?
the planets?
This is, as an AR, this is exactly what you want it to be.
Yeah, and I am very excited for the people, the brewers, to really get a hold of this mimic effect, and I think it can go crazy in the way that I enjoy, which is just like bonkers.
I assume there will be some weird stuff going on with this guy at some point.
Yeah. Someone's gonna find something. That's exciting.
All right, I'm going to top down this thing.
All right, hit it.
First
Here's
of all,
some important information.
you can sign up for a subscription, like I said earlier, to get the booster box for Step 4 and the Altar exclusive promo that we were showing.
That's right.
Second
Do
thing,
it.
just some set details about this thing. The first 2-sided contender,
Yeah.
which is cool. Shadowlight. He's
Yeah,
from
it's perfect. It's so good.
from the novel. He's one of my favorite. It's just this unique superpower
Right.
he's got going on, where he's got these 2 halves and one
The
eye
eye,
is either
yeah.
light or shadow, and then vice versa. But his superpowers change depending on the form, and they've already shown that, and he looks awesome. There's 7 new contenders in the set.
I can't believe that.
I remember asking Ridge, founder of the company and creator of the game, if they were going to keep doing 5 to 7 contenders every set, and he's like, "We have no plans to stop that." It's like there are going to be so many heroes at some point.
Yeah.
That is,
It's gonna be like a Marvel versus
Crazy.
Capcom game, just like this like giant block.
which is, I mean, it's a good way when you have a main character like that to access different parts of the card pool and make them valuable in different ways, which I like that a lot. But it's kind of the traditional now 5 in the set itself. So you open those in the booster pack, 2 are in the Clash kit.
Okay.
And the note I wanted to give there is we have a separate subscription for the Clash kits. So if you just want to make sure you get that, sign up for one of those and you'll get basically a playset.
Yeah, and if you just want to try out the game, I mean, I think any time is a great time to jump in. But the Clash kit, that is the way to go.
I really like, they do a starter every set, which is like 2 decks. that
It's
you can
really
play.
so smart.
But we have a couple of previous releases in that, and then a Clash Kit bundle that is a great place to start if you just want to check the game out.
Yeah.
Early access to the product at the Clash Ground Miami.
Okay.
Sunday pre-release
this is a
event,
pre-release.
October 6th. We will be in Essen, so we will not be at this event. But the official Clash Ground taking place at Miami TCG Con, October 5th to 6th. And their organized play is ramped up. We're in the zone now.
Yeah.
They have the 125K cash prizing with all the
Yeah.
other prizes on top. Pro Tour is in December.
Okay.
I'm planning to go to that. I qualified in Vegas. To go to that and play at the Pro Tour itself. I'm waiting for the event details. I don't know where it's at or what's going on, but I'm planning on going, assuming it's not somewhere crazy.
On Zenith Prime.
It just needs to at least be in the States, I guess. I think they said it's going to be in the States. That would be crazy if it wasn't. Anyways, so you have to have earned a Tier 3 invitation to play at the Pro Tour. From a Tier 1, like an Awakening event, or a Tier 2 Clash Ground. So the Clash Ground's like what they did in Vegas. That's what the bigger level events
I
are.
see.
But the Awakening is worth mentioning because they have a list on their website of all the Awakenings that are happening, and these are mostly at local game stores.
Okay. Very cool.
A ton of these going on around the country. There's promos and play mats and the traditional affair. But then the winner of those events qualifies for the Pro Tour, where there'll be that'll be the bigger event, more prizes, more cash, etc. Competitive. I'm sure Michael Hamilton will win, but so whatever.
You heard it here first.
So yeah, they're rolling. Set 4's coming out November.
I'm still hung up on the 7 new contenders. It's
time.
nuts. That's crazy to me.
It's
That's
a
crazy.
lot.
It's so good.
The nice thing too is the contenders are typically not super complicated.
Right.
Stats are changing. The one little ability or whatever's going on changes a little bit, and the theme and lore, like the Shadowlight character, so cool.
Perfect. Yeah.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're cruising. If you're not signed up for a subscription, you should definitely do that and go out to some of these Awakening events and come to the Pro Tour. If you're going to be at the Pro Tour, say hi. Give you a high five or a hug if you're a hugging kind of person.
And we will see everybody at the end of spoiler season where we'll be revealing some other special stuff and talking about some
Yep.
of the bigger things that have been revealed
And
today. It's going to be really exciting.
On the Alpha Clash website, they'll have a list of the previews and when they're going up and stuff. You can obviously follow along.
Yeah.
And if you're not in our Discord channel, it's another place you should be.
Yes.
Incredible people.
Very
great
great
place
community.
for chill discussion. No one takes it overly seriously. It's not sweaty, as it were. But yeah, previews coming. We'll be at the end of the preview season.
Yep.
And then, of course, we'll be checking out the set once it's here. And
It's going to be
typically
great.
play like sealed and stuff on stream.
Yep, and then Zach will be jailing games to get ready for that
So I can
that big event.
lose to Hamilton at some point.
That's the goal, right?
Yeah.
All right.
That's not even. It's just the inevitability. Anyways,
That's all I've got. I think we'll see everybody on the other side. So enjoy spoiler season. It's going to be super exciting. Go to their Discord. Go to our Discord. Talk to your friends. Talk to your mom. I don't know. Talk to someone about
if you're
it.
somehow still watching at this point and you don't already play, check out the game. It's definitely worth
it's
it.
very cool.
Yeah. See you next time.